So this is going to be the drop-in progression out of the Compass template. Okay, so we have to go over two different things, both of which are a review, but they're going to be merged together. So the Compass template, remember, no matter what foot position you're in, feet and hips will always face forward. And then with that, we want to always make sure whichever direction that we're stepping within that Compass template, depending on the movement, paying attention to how much weight is distributed, and this will vary based on the position, as well as making sure that you are aligned with your body over a specific foot as we are going, okay? So we're gonna have the Compass template, we have the right side, and then we have the left side, and then we're gonna be merging that in with a drop-in, and so we'll tackle each of these individually, okay? So now, our regular drop-in, prior to putting it into the Compass template, whichever our lead leg is, so let's say, for instance, in this one, it would be my right leg, I'm gonna center myself on top of this foot. So when you're doing that, think of like your midline, so from your head to your spine and your sternum, to your thigh, to your knee, to your foot, to your ankle. We want all of that kind of in a line. And then we want to find a stretch on that same side hamstring. Okay, and this is going to be the same for all the Compass template positions. So this is just basic drop-in review. We're going to unlock the knee, and now I'm going to find that stretch on that right side. So from here, I'm going to be reaching my hips back while maintaining that slight amount of knee bend. So that initial unlock, I'm still lined up over it. I keep the foot down and I reach the hip back until I feel the hamstring lengthen out and stretch on this side, okay? Make sure you don't rock back or lean back until you end up off of the foot to find that. Think of it as a reach back. So I still have pressure through the ball of my foot and I'm reaching that hip back. My shoulders will come forward as a result, okay? So we have our alignment, we have our stretch. The drop-in itself is just a rotation. So as I begin to actually do the motion, there should be no up and down changes, only rotational. I stay in line over this side once I'm lengthened, and I'm gonna be pulling this hip back. So what that translates to is I'm rotating while staying on top of this leg. My torso has turned and my leg has turned. These turn as a result of this hip moving that way. So when this moves, and this moves, until I'm rotated and everything is kind of looking 45 degrees off that way, okay? So now, the Compass template, we have forward at an angle, lateral, posterior or behind at an angle, and straight back, and we run through each of those steps in each of those positions. So now we can go a little bit faster. So we have forward, so we double check both feet are forward. With these ones, I would actually go a little bit of a closer step. So instead of stepping out here, which would be fine just as a Compass template, I would keep it a little bit closer to heel to toe, just as a habit for the drop-in specifically. So I have my forward position, I'm lined up, centered, I'm gonna find the hamstring, and then I'm doing my rotation, staying on top of this leg, as opposed to falling inside. So I wanna keep everything spiraling on top of this column over here. This will be our forward position, okay? When we go to forward at an angle, right, if this was forward, I just wanna now be about 45 degrees off to the side, and you have a range to work with, doesn't have to be exact, but we're gonna run through that same exact progression now. So I'm centered over here, I'm finding my stretch, staying on top of this leg, and I'm rotating, okay? The eyes can still look forward. I don't think I mentioned that before. When I'm turning, I don't need to look where I'm turning. I can, for balance and alignment purposes, keep my eyes forward or centered at least if you prefer to look down a little bit. We're gonna go to lateral. So now don't take too big of a step. I would stay about shoulder width. Could be a tiny bit wider. I'm gonna now align myself over that foot. So I'm over here. With this position, as well as the ones posterior, I would now turn this foot in a tiny bit ahead of time and make sure that knee is unlocked. It will just make life easier. So now I'm gonna, again, center, find my hamstring, okay? Still working off of this hip and turning. So the motion is still the same. I've just changed the location of my feet, but I'm doing the same exact motion every single time. One thing to always remember, and what I'll continue to say, is that it does not matter, or it should not matter, where your pivot foot is within a drop-in. The action is always the same on the planted leg that's doing the turning. So it's always the same no matter what. We're gonna go to the posterior. Now remember from before, these are the trickier ones. So when you're stepping back, take a small step. So like the most I would go, I would say, is heel to toe. I usually end up a little bit less, but there's personal preference there. And now where this one gets different when we're stepping to the back is I'm sitting on my back leg. So instead of being here where I'm on my front leg going that way, I'm stepping back and I'm gonna sit and align over that leg. So now I'm centered over my back foot. Just like with the sideways ones, I'm gonna turn this in a little bit ahead of time and unlock it. Find my stretch out over this leg. And now I'm staying in this column again and doing my drop-in. Trying to make it feel exactly the same as the other positions. I just now have a different foot orientation. With these ones that you're stepping posterior on as well, we have a steeper angle over the foot. So as I step back on these, I'm gonna be at a more aggressive forward angle, and that's to allow this hip to have room to continue moving. The final position is posterior, and it's gonna be straight back. So instead of being at an angle, I'm just gonna step straight back. I would again be no further than heel to toe. You can even go less, okay? I usually end up about there. And all of this is so I can still center on top of this leg. If I step back here, by the time I actually can get myself on top of this leg, I lose the ability to keep contact on my front foot. Okay, so we're gonna take our final position, straight back, centering over that leg again, turned in, unlocked, find my stretch again on this back leg, staying over here and doing my same drop in. Pulling this hip around, rotating towards it. Okay? And then we would just have the mirroring on the left side. The forward, the angle, the lateral, back at an angle, and straight back where everything moves to that side. And that's our drop-ins inside the compass template.